Yay Media Group.
Not only did he was there for the photo shoot, did the interview, he was the stylist. He was the one who brought me dresses to try on. And then he gave me one of the dresses too. So I was like, he's jack of all trades, but like good at all of them.
Wait a minute, Christine, you got to keep your dress?
I got to keep one dress. There were multiple outfits, but he let me keep this.
Andrew, Christy, we're going to have words.
Sorry.
Hey dude, I think the 90s are calling.
Hey everybody, welcome back to Hey Dude, the 90s Called podcast. I am Christine Taylor, and I am here with my partner in nostalgia and co-host extraordinaire, David Lasher.
Oh, thank you.
You like that? Co-host extraordinaire.
Yeah.
I think I even didn't even pronounce the word right.
How you doing? How is it? How's everybody?
Everybody is really good. We, you and I saw each other for a live podcast that will be coming up in a couple of weeks, maybe 2 or 3 weeks.
New York,
which we won't talk about,
amazing.
But that was so much fun to see.
Oh my God. I hadn't been there since last summer. So I just hit the ground running, man.
You got the best weather humanly possible for the period of time you were there.
The sun came out. I was in Central Park in a t-shirt.
I know. It was gorgeous.
You and we had some good time. We had lunch with your bro and had a great interview. And we went to that gala. Oh my God. You and I were
we went to the gala.
At the Plaza. Doesn't get more New York than that.
That was so New York. That's right. The broadcasters event. That was so much fun.
Yeah. Rubbing shoulders with Judge Judy.
Judge Judy.
And
Stephen A. Smith.
Oh man.
Okay. So we got to talk, I think, quickly before we bring our very cool guests in about this trend that's been going on of Mom, Dad, what were you like in the 90s? And then cue the Goo Goo Dolls music.
Goo Goo Dolls. Oh my God.
I feel like some people have had a different song come on there every now and again. Maybe yours. Yours might have had a different song. Is it possible?
Yeah, there was. I think I did one with New Kids on the Block. But yeah, that trend was like crazy. I mean,
what's so funny about that trend is that trend was happening for regular people too, who weren't, I feel like what's so fun about it is that it's kind of even unfair that I think for us at What Were You Like in the 90s, there's so much footage of photos and
you just go
the catalog of it. And I think it's probably more fun for people who genuinely didn't know what their parents were like in the 90s. That there's no footage, that there's no receipts, right? For the parents, for people to dig that up.
It was so fun to watch other people's and to see how widespread that trend was, that people wanted to go back and look at themselves in the 90s. I mean, that's what we're doing here, I was
going to say, it was very reassuring to us to be.
Yeah.
We were like, okay, we're doing the right podcast.
Good. Yeah. The 90s
I had so much fun when I would see friends and people posting about them. And yours was, I think, is it possible? I might have been in yours. There might have been a Hey Dude picture, and I feel like there were 2 of yours that went around. I might have been in one of them.
Yes, but of course you were. I can't go back to my 90s and not, think of you.
That's so funny.
Speaking of 90s,
I love that Goo Goo Dolls song. Because wasn't that song in City of Angels?
To touch you. Yeah.
Remember the movie City of Angels? That was right. That was the movie with Nicolas Cage and Meg Ryan.
Oh, no. I didn't know that.
I know that was a big hit song, but I believe that song was also in that movie. And maybe I'm crazy, but I think I'm right. But anyway, that was a very fun.
The song's definitely
trend.
In my head. Let's say that.
It is. It's so stuck in your head with the opening. Right?
I'll give up forever to touch you.
Sing it, David.
It's like a power ballad.
It is totally.
So we have 2 great 90s. Well, they're doing great work today, but Andrew Keegan and Diana Uribe are in a new play together, and we're going to go back to 10 Things I Hate About You and all his stuff and California Dreams. Let's bring these two in and talk to them.
Welcome, you guys. This is so cool. This is such a fun sort of surprise that came up through all of our sort of mutual friend, Andrew Christie. And we're going to talk to you guys about the play. We'll get to that because we want anybody who's in New York who's listening. These two cool cats have a very fun play coming up very soon. So we're going to talk about that. But had you guys known each other before, like just over the years, sort of the way? Because I realize I have not really met you guys at all. David, have any of us really met each other through the years, through the
No, it's so crazy. I feel like I know you both, but no, I don't remember meeting you guys. But were you friends?
No, not either. I think, there was interesting sections, and I think sections of time and like work dynamics. So I also personally, I moved to Venice, at 2021. So I really kind of moved out of the scene, if you will, and have been down here since. But yeah, I know it's interesting that we all came up in that same era and just didn't really ever cross paths.
Yes. Yeah. But Andrew, were you at 90s Con a couple years ago when we were there too? Because I feel like I saw you amidst a crowd in the hotel. Do you remember that, David?
Yes.
Yes.
Oh, no, I dedefinitely remember seeing you guys then. And that was actually what was so great about that, because we had never really had an opportunity. Sure, there was like award shows back then and, events that we had gone to. But yeah, that was the best. Seeing a whole cast together. I don't think I ever saw the Seventh Heaven cast together. You know what I mean? Even when we were filming. So it was great.
Yeah, those events, those things are so much fun. And Diana, I know that you guys have done big, reunions as well with your cast, but like how crazy that we're all at that stage in our lives where like this lifetimes ago, we were all just kind of like young and doing it. And now like all these years later, the connections we have with our own castmates, but then also these crazy connections with fans that who knew? Like, who would have ever thought?
Exactly.
And that's the interesting thing about the cons too, where you get to meet people and you get to get that immediate feedback, which is also similar to this experience we're having doing stage. We'll be there, in a week. You get immediate feedback. So when you do film and television, of course, you get some fan mail back then, of course. Now you get social media, but never that immediate response,
Yeah, exactly. I mean, I think that's what came out of the reunion show for our cast. For me personally, I mean, I had really, similar to Andrew, just kind of moved away, went to Redondo Beach, started my life living, and then through a series of events, just 2023 did a reunion show. And to Andrew's point, you kind of like, oh, we got fan mail, we did the magazines. It was a big thing back then. But then in the reunion, to meet people who literally immediately tell you what an impact those 90s shows had on their lives growing up has been really amazing to hear. And that's been really moving, and a catalyst, at least for myself. And I know Andrew and I talked about it before, like how amazing to have this nostalgic fan base that is so excited to see 90s characters and stars and shows that they grew up with.
It's crazy how big the nostalgia is right now. People are really like missing that time and want to revisit it. I mean, for so many reasons. Diana, we had the California Dreams cast on here right before that reunion show. I don't remember. Were you on here or no?
Diana was not.
I don't know. It was for the New York show.
It was prior to that. Yes. You were not with us when we did. It was, we had a big group. Yeah.
And Cade slept through it.
I'm not surprised. So Cade slept through a lot, it was interesting that the New York show for myself came very, very late into, they just kind of, it was hard to get a hold of me. I don't do Instagram. I didn't know there were messages in there. They were like 3 years old from Jenny Kwan.
Oh my God.
Looking
Oh my
for
God,
me.
that's
So
hilarious.
Off the grid.
completely off the grid,
so
under
great.
a rock or under beach sand, as
Under
Andrew
beach
would
sand, under the
probably refer
volleyball
to
net.
it, but yes, under deep sand. And so I did come a little late into the fact that the reunion was happening and they were looking for me and they were like, do you want to do this? And I'm like, sure, let's do it. And then it was really the most amazing experience. You know, Christy actually, Andrew Christie wrote it into our upcoming play. The fact that I met a fan in New York, vividly remember, her name is Red. If she's out there, I know she'll be listening to this. Love you, Red. And she came up to me and she said, you know, Diana, I have to tell you what an impact your character had on me as a Puerto Rican girl growing up in New York, seeing California. Oh my God. And, you know, a Latina on the show, and you would throw in these Spanish. And she's like, and I was just so excited to see that. And it felt so good as a young person to see that on a young TV show. And Christy wrote it in, and it's absolutely true. And it really gives me chills. I mean, it still kind of gives me goosebumps, and what an impact her comment made on me about how I made an impact on her.
It's also a theme in the play that we're both Latino. So I'm half Colombian. A lot of people don't know that, but Andrew Christie found the opportunity in the play to sort of share that in the story, that, you know, both Diana and I, you know, kind of paved a pathway to Latinos, you know, start, you know, of course there's many people, but at that time, Diana specifically was speaking Spanish, and that was, you know, a little unheard of.
For network television as a central character, it was unheard of. If every now and again you would see a guest star come on, maybe, and you know, but how amazing to represent in that way at a time so ahead of its time.
Yeah, in a positive way too. Seeing them doing really fun, positive, productive things.
Yeah,
Well, to think about, go ahead.
Oh, sorry. To your point, David, what was really fun was the fact that my character at the time had a lot of money. So, and they played that up. You know, it was like the band was playing in my loft. My parents had a lot of money. There was an episode where my dad owned a ski lodge, and so we all went skiing. And that was very, very different than the representation.
Yeah, that breaks the stereotype that rich people are white, or, you know.
Completely. And it was really fun to have that angle to be different, because, you know, up until getting that show, my auditions and my, you know, career, you know, was a little bit more typical.
Did you play an instrument on the show?
I didn't. I was literally just, you know, there's an episode where they make fun of that I'm the groupie, but they played at my loft. I was a friend, you know, I dated a couple of the guys, but there's a, you know.
Wait, you dated guys? Who?
A couple of them.
I started with,
times.
you know, you always got to start with the guy with the leather jacket. You know, you always got to start there.
Yes, the edgy one, the edgy one, because they wore a leather jacket.
Yes, right. And then I ended up with Cade. I don't know, David. What do you think?
Dude, that guy's a character. I love him.
He is. I did too.
Andrew, how did you get started? Where did you grow up?
So I grew up in LA, in the Valley where you are now.
Oh wow!
I went to school just outside of Burbank, that area. I started working when I was really young. Actually, I did my first commercial when I was 4.
Oh wow!
Actually, ironically enough, I didn't remember this, but they just started shooting Baywatch here where I live in Venice.
Oh yeah!
And I think I did that show at about 14 years old. So that would have been one of my first acting jobs, which
oh my God,
on the biggest show in the world.
At the time it was a bit, at the time it was a big deal. And I guess it's a big deal now because they're everywhere here in Venice.
Everywhere in red bathing suits.
There's a 90s throwback, bringing back Baywatch.
I was coming back from I'm coaching my daughter's volleyball team, and I'm coming back, and there's the Baywatch lifeguard truck, red truck with the 2 jet skis, and I'm like, this is how it's going to be for the next 6 to 8 months. Just kind of, I think I saw one of the actresses in a robe, in the trailers. So
tell them you're an alumni.
I know.
Bring your character back.
David Chokichi's on it, so But they, So that was at that age, and then I think the first movie I did was Camp Nowhere when I was 15, 16. Mm-hmm. 10 Things, and then Seventh Heaven, and so just a lot of work through my teenage years. And I think at the point I kind of hit adulthood, it had been a decade, and I moved to Venice and fell in love with the beach lifestyle, which I had already had in my life, and the community here. So that kind of has been where I felt most grounded. And so, I've had a life. I have a 10-year-old daughter. And when Andrew Christie said, I want to write this play and make this have this commentary on the business and remind people that you're the son of an immigrant and you're Latino and Diana. And so one thing led to another. And, it's not too often someone's willing to put together a story and write an off-Broadway play. So I said, let's do this. I'm an actor. We're actors. This is what we do. It's the most rawest form. So we're excited to put it up in a week.
Wait, can we go back to 10 Things I Hate About You? Because that's, obviously one of the best movies to come out of that time. That was one of your first jobs?
No, well, my first studio film would have been Camp Nowhere. So I would have been 15. I think we did 10 Things when I was 19. Yeah,
okay.
So I'd been, at that point, I had done Party of Five, Seventh Heaven. So I'd been working a lot, actually.
Yes.
And interestingly enough, so at that time, the lead character, of course, they were casting for a little while. I think I was one of the first cast. And then they casted an Australian guy who had never done anything in the States. Mm-hmm. And that was the introduction to, of course, Heath and a long-standing, friendship, and I'm still friends with one of his best friends. So it's just like it's been an amazing life in so many ways. But yeah, that was a great film.
What do you think it is about that film in particular that it is just so magical in a way? Because I remember when my daughter. Of course, we had all seen it. And then I just, coming up in that, I don't think I auditioned for it. I might have just been a smidge old, but a lot of us all these movies, and you just remember when things were happening. And I just remember thinking what a great film it was. And then, cut to my daughter is in high school, and for whatever Shakespeare class, she goes, "Oh, we just watched the most incredible movie." So it just it's timeless. And it just is, for a movie that was made in the 90s, and obviously it's an adaptation, it's a Shakespeare adaptation, but what do you think made it so magical? And was it a collective sort of, you talked about your friendship with Heath. Was it the feeling on the set of all of you together?
It is really that we just captured magic in a bottle. I mean, every time we as artists go out and perform, there's a lot of other elements too. The editing, the music, the direct, our performances. I think this was just one of those movies that and it was based on Shakespeare. So the writing was great. And it didn't have, a cast that was star cast. It was really casted appropriately, and I think that's somewhat of why it works so well, because they really wanted the right characters, not who had the most followers. That didn't exist back then, right? Or necessarily the studio executives didn't get too involved in putting the, most famous teen heartthrob. Except for me, of course.
Of course.
Yes. But don't sell yourself short, my
you
friend.
were the handsome jerk, for sure.
It was really, I auditioned for it, and it was really that was the appropriate performance for that character. And yeah, I mean, it is interesting because I get that all the time. I get friends calling me out of the blue, right? Hey man, you're not going to believe this. My 16-year-old daughter is sitting here with her friends. Can you say hi? And it's like a buddy, and they don't even, they're just like, I know Andrew, how do you see, I mean, I've seen the movie, but you're 16. Why are you watching this movie right now? So yeah, there's a whole other generation that's really, tapped into the magic that is 10 Things I Hate About You.
Well, I would actually even say, Christine, David, I mean, I think your entire platform based on the 90s is just, I find my kids also watching all kinds of 90 movies, right? Nostalgia, even in this next generation, they all, they're gangster reps, even like Biggie Smalls. And I'm like, yo, I know that one. Oh, you know what I mean? they're latching on to 90s nostalgia. And so, I mean, I think that's what's so great about your podcast is that you're tapping into this area that they're all like peeking in and get attached to and love. And I don't know if it's because of us that we play, we have it on the,
I think they love watching something where people aren't on their phones and texting in half of the scenes. They're just like, it's a throwback to, what life was. I mean, this love story that's on right now, that my favorite part of watching that show is looking at New York in the 90s,
Right.
So much stands out that just isn't like that today.
Well, and also stories were told differently too, because you couldn't use the phone or a computer as a sort of means to an answer, like in the storytelling.
To push the story.
The stories were different.
Right.
But I do think you're right. And when David and I did start this, that was David who had come to me about potentially doing this podcast. The first thing that he had said to me was, we have this nostalgia now that we're older and can look back on it and look at that period of time with sort of like, whoa, what a special time was. But, David has a teenage daughter, a couple older kids too, but his teenage daughter, he was like, my daughter, Chelsea, is just like through streaming, discovering all of these shows for the first time, and then I thought to myself, I was like, yeah, oh my God, when my daughter discovered Gilmore Girls and all of those shows, which were, she thought were as cool as like the iCarlys and the, whatever was current. And so we've both had such a blast, and it's always so fascinating to talk to our guests to just hear the memories, those moments, those, because I think for us now, we can look back on it and just say, wow, that was just a really great moment in time when things sort of stood still. We connected with each other in very real ways. We picked up phones to call people. Our physical connection with each other. We would get together to see each other instead of just texting. So, I mean, I'm stating the obvious. But
and there weren't that many. They don't make a lot of like cool teen movies anymore. Like,
no,
we had Ethan, a couple of cast members from Can't Hardly Wait were on here, and they talk about how that film just continues to live on. 10 Things I Hate About You, like it represents, this teenage experience that I don't really see them making that anymore.
Well, David, I don't know how old Christina and David, I don't know how old your kids are, but my oldest is going to be 22 in June. And she literally told me, she said, Mom, I wish I was in your era. And I thought that was pretty funny. I was like, really? And she goes, yeah, it just seemed easier. That's literally what she said. She's like, it just seemed easier.
That's
and I go, and what do you mean by that? She's like, it's just, I think it's a lot, it's the phone and the social media. It's a lot. And I think it is bombarding their brains. And so when they see something like, it's a lot of noise. And when they see something like 10 Things I Hate About You or even Stranger Things in terms of like trying to tap into that much simpler time, there's no phones. There's no texting. You can't get in touch with someone immediately. They have to get to a payphone. And that's if you had a beeper. Because if you don't, then you're just going to have to wait 3 hours for me to get home.
A beeper.
So, since you brought up beeper, I was the first guy in seventh grade to have, I swear, and I got in trouble for it, but they didn't know what to do.
They were like, what is this device?
And I was, I was an actor in junior high, and I was like, I gotta go to the office. I gotta call my agent and see what about my audition. So it actually had a practical use at the time.
Yeah, you could send boobs. You could send the little icons to create boobs.
It was actors and drug dealers.
Practical.
And
right?
As you guys were mentioning,
funnest thing ever.
So fun. I was going to say, even as you guys are mentioning this, like in this era, we were actors. We went to class. You know, we worked on the craft, and that's why this play is really exciting. I think what's interesting now is it's all about followers. It isn't as authentic. It isn't necessarily about the craft, and that's a little bit lost in the business of it all. And that might be kind of what they're picking up on. It doesn't have that same sense of authenticity, and of course, all the other things that you said as well. Like there weren't as many distractions. We were literally, you know, in a different era. And, you know, I mean, I try my best to keep my daughter off of it, you know, off of the sort of, which she's not on social media, but just off of technology. But it's so difficult. I mean, we could turn this into a podcast. I probably need some.
No, I like this tangent. I like this because I listened to this guy, Scott Galloway, Professor Galloway. Do you guys know him?
Yes. Yes.
He talks about how concerned he is for young people today, specifically young men who are very antisocial. And there's some crazy statistic he threw out that like something like 70% of young guys under 21 have never asked a girl out in person. So that skill, like, you know, your character in 10 Things I Hate About You is not only asking a girl out, but getting someone else to date her sister. And like everything's being done in person, face to face. And like that kind of courage and that kind of connection, you know, it just doesn't exist. I think it's fascinating to young people today.
David, I think you're hitting it for sure. I mean, the thought of like going up to someone in high school in the hallway and like having a conversation or trying to date someone with actually asking them out is that's what they're seeing. They're like, wow, people used to do that back then. I'm like, yes, that's
the behavior.
Do you guys remember? I remember in high school, like someone would put a note, like a written note folded up through the grid of my locker. And then you'd open the note and it would be like, hey, do you want to meet outside of the biology room? And it was like, oh my God. And then if only we'd kept those notes, because it just was like, you had to do it in that way. And then you had to physically see each other. I mean, by the way, David, you're talking about that. Guys and girls or whoever, however the dating was, you would have to call and your parents would pick up the phone. And you'd have to say, hey, may I speak with Mom, whoever, you know, it's like, there was nothing really private because they were calling your home phone number.
But those are all skills. Those are all social communication skills that we had to develop.
And I think even for us now I'll speak for myself, in this generation now, because the texting is so easy, even though I was trained old school, I was trained to know, I knew how to call people and pick up the phone and have a conversation. But now it's almost like I fall into it so easily as well. I fall into that of like, oh no, do I have to get on the phone? Why don't I just send them a text? Like it's very habit forming in that way. Like it is like truly we have to retrain ourselves. I mean, that's like, honestly, I know we're all on Zoom and we're not in a room together, but that is part of what we love about even doing this, because we all just get to like talk. And for us
have
on
an
the
hour
podcast,
conversation. Yeah.
Some of our friends who we haven't seen in person in a long time, we have on the podcast. We're like, this is such a great way to catch up. And to meet cool people like you guys who we've known of, just haven't really met. So I just think it's awesome. I think it's so great. Now, I mean, we have so many things to talk about, just of the projects and things you guys worked on. But let's just segue a little bit into the play, because when we came on, you were talking about how you both didn't know each other before, but you started to rehearse a little in person, playing volleyball instead of running lines. So you guys are fairly close. You're in LA. You're going to be coming to New York. Let's just like take this moment to like talk about the play. Tell us the name of the play, where and when it's going to be. Because I want to get into a little bit, since I know Andrew specifically wrote it for you guys. And I think he's, like you both said, has taken a lot of your work over the years to put into this play. So I think it's just a good way to sort of segue into other stuff too.
Well, so he's got a series of the plays that he's done. I think there's been 8 so far. So when we talked initially, he sort of said we can go one direction with the Shakespeare, or the other direction with the Tarantino theme, which a lot of the fans of his work have been interested in seeing. So I was like, well, I've done Shakespeare. Let's go Tarantino. Little did I know what I was getting myself into. So it's Once Upon a Time on Clarantino's pilot. So it's a little play on all of Tarantino's work. And within that, he's been able to kind of bring in part of our history, story, careers, sort of to highlight throughout the play. We have a wonderful cast of characters. Just, I'm overwhelmed with how much talent we are getting to Zoom with each week, and looking so forward to being there next week with them in person. So there's music, there's dancing, there's a lot of references to Tarantino films. And as we mentioned earlier, you know, both Diana and I are Latino, so I'm half Colombian. I'll let her share. I mean, I think
half Colombian and Mexican. My mom's
half
Mexican.
Colombian and Mexican. So
and my dad was Colombian.
We both are Colombian. So we're bringing that, you know, that highlighting that throughout the play. And, you know, as we've dealt with things in sort of the zeitgeist, we have a diverse cast of characters as well. So we're commentary on everything. I think I mentioned earlier too, even that we have a social media character, which I'm finding that funny as I'm watching Baywatch is casting 41 million followers here, and not even actors, right? So it's like we're kind of commenting on the business overall. And actually, like we were just sharing as well, how we all felt in this era that we were all working in the 90s and 2000s. So, you know, just bringing that back to stage, to bring that feel good that we, you know, the reason you guys are doing the podcast, the reason we're talking today, it's like we're gonna do it on stage and just kind of flex those acting muscles, and being on stage, there's just nothing better. And of course, you know, Off-Broadway in New York is just really cool opportunity.
Yeah. And what I do really love about what Andrew Christie did is that, you know, like Andrew mentioned, and like we mentioned before, he has these little snippets of our careers written into the show, which is really
for the
really
audience.
Cool because, yes, there's nods in the audience. There's little references on what we've done in our career. And for me particularly, you know, it's no longer a touchy subject, but what was really great was I got to work with Quentin Tarantino.
Jackie Brown.
I was in Jackie Brown. It was, yeah. So, that, you know, Andrew's like, so I'm making this thing about Tarantino. I'm like, awesome, great. Open up a wound. Why don't you, Andrew?
Wait. Can we talk about your experience on Jackie Brown? It's
No, it was amazing experience. It was so great. Tarantino was so fun. I had the funnest time on the set. He was so nice. He was kind of quirky and almost like, there was one scene, we filmed multiple scenes, and there was one where I'm in the car with Robert Forster, and there's a mic in the car because he's in the flatbed truck behind us, you know, kind of directing us. Yeah. It's just me and Forster in the car. The camera's there. So he's doing the director in the back. And, you know, he talks through this microphone in the car. And at some point, I don't know, Robert Forster and I were just kind of chit-chatting, and he stopped talking. And I go, isn't it weird when his voice comes through? It's like, it's kind of like, I don't know.
My God.
And it was on. And so he goes, this is the voice of God. You know, he was just like, just like super fun. Well, anyways, fast forward to the night of the screening. I get a phone call, and I'm getting ready. You know, I'm so excited, and it's Quentin Tarantino on the phone. And I go, on a real phone, by the way. It was not a cell phone. I'm sure it had a like squiggly cord and everything. I pick up the phone, and he's like, hey, Diana, this is Quentin Tarantino. And I'm like, shut up. Who is this? Which one of my friends is like punking me right now? And he goes, no, this is really me. And I go, hi. And he's like, hey, I just need to tell you, you know, it's kind of the thing with my movies. I get a lot of scenes. I get a lot of characters. I film a lot. And then ultimately, you know, time and just storyline, I got to cut things down. And he's like, and I just wanted to let you know that I had to cut most of your scenes. And I go, you know what? Thank you so much for calling me. hung up the phone and cried. But got to the screening and cried a little bit more. But I mean, how amazing that a director as big as him at the time, because he had already done Pulp Fiction. This was Jackie Brown. So and he picked up the phone to let me know he cut me out. And my character was this big, small, like, just kind of a contributing character to getting Robert Forster to the jail and all of this stuff. But the fact that he picked up the phone was so endearing to me. And that's also one of the topics and kind of one of these themes in Andrew Christie's play is, there are some good people out in the biz, in the entertainment industry that have a heart that, want to treat people well. I mean, you've got the bad side. You've got the side that, a lot of media attention kind of latches on to. But then you've got the good people and the people that really do lift up actors or who are trying to help their careers. And that was another topic that Andrew Christie kind of touched on. But it's totally true. Got cut out.
And as Diana's sharing that, it's really interesting because that, quite frankly, is coming through in the play, and it's a theme of the play, and why we're excited to be talking to you guys. As you guys know, you're doing the podcast. There's a lot of great people in the industry. Unfortunately, like Diana said, it's not always represented in the media. But the whole point of doing the play is to kind of bring all of these young next generation actors, New York actors, who I cannot tell you, each time we do a rehearsal, the director, Andrew Christie, he does a complimentary, everybody kind of compliments quickly. And it's just built this really wonderful force of energy that we're all so excited about. It creates a certain kind of confidence in what we're doing. But I told the cast the other night, I would not doubt, there's a joke about Leonardo DiCaprio, and it's like, he's nominated for another, I don't know if I can say the word, but another Oscar.
Yes.
Okay, I can. Okay. So there's a line in there referring to that.
Yes.
He's, and why wasn't that me? But I told the cast, I was like, I have no doubt one of you would very likely win an Oscar in your career. So, and we've all seen that, right? We've seen people that we worked with just shoot to the top. And that's what it's really about. It's also about supporting the cast of New York actors that we're working with.
It sounds amazing.
I think it's awesome. It's so awesome. Did you guys have, as Andrew talked to you about it and started to write it, did either of you sort of chime in with ideas? Was it a sort of a collaborative, or did Andrew kind of talk to you, go to work, and then present it with you? And then now that you're in rehearsals, you're finding things.
Well, if you know Andrew Christie, he is great at everything. So
I was going to say that because, by the way, David and I talked before you guys came on that I said we both did the photo shoots for his for Wingman Magazine.
Wingman Magazine.
Back in the day. I mean, not that long ago, like 7 or 8 years ago. But I said, not only did he was there for the photo shoot, did the interview, he was the stylist. He was the one who brought me dresses to try on. And then he gave me one of the dresses too. So I was like, he's jack of all trades. But good at all of them.
Wait a minute, Christine, you got to keep your dress?
I got to keep one dress. There were multiple outfits, but he let me keep
Andrew Christie, we're going to have words.
Sorry.
He is just,
that's exactly.
We are going to have words. I really liked the dress I wore that he put me in.
Andrew, you are in trouble.
I didn't get to keep it though.
It was probably more expensive than I had.
To answer your question, Christine, it's interesting. That's something else. And I'm honestly not blowing smoke because he's listening in. But one of the things that I find quite amazing about the fact of how he wrote our lives into this play is the fact that he listens. Because, my comments, my stories, Selena, this, Tarantino, all this stuff, or, the girl that I met, those were just experiences that I had, comments I made, little stories I told in the brief time that we were, we did the photo shoot for Wingman. He produced, he helped produce the 3 reunion shows and everything, but it's just the fact that he absorbed the information, he remembered it, and then he wove it into the play, at least for me. I don't know, Keegan, did he involve you a little bit more?
What I'm realizing is, wait, maybe we kind of wrote the play.
In the stories you told him.
Inadvertently, right?
Yeah.
Because he said to me at one point, I said, listen, I'm not sure about this line. I kind of want to work it around a different way. He's like, well, that's exactly how you said it to me. And I was like, oh, wow, you really literally took it down. So to the point that Diana's making, he was listening and he wove things in, but he's also not the kind of director who's like, it has to be exactly how I wrote it. So there's some room to put it into words that will ultimately feel most ideal as an actor. So that's always nice too, that it's not like a rigid situation at all.
When Andrew Christie reached out to us about like having you guys on, which we were so excited about, he pitched what the play was a little bit, and he said, and make sure you talk to Keegan about his spiritual community, because we bring that into the play too. And I just want to say, because this is not something I knew anything about, and as I was doing some research and saw some, great footage of you talking about it, and I just think, like, what a phenomenal thing! Like, what an incredible community. This is the first time I had heard about it, but just the sort of the goodness that you're putting out in the world, and the connection, like a lot of what we're talking about earlier, of like connection with people. So I just, I would be remiss if we didn't ask you about that, because Christy said, make sure you ask him about it too.
I want to hear.
Well, it's actually really interesting how well it wove into this, because of course, Once Upon a Time in Hollywood has the whole Manson thing at the end. So that was kind of interesting in the part of the story that's the life story, not the career story.
Sure.
Like I said, I came to Venice and just really fell in love with the community, and I think community building. I'm sure you guys remember the Occupy movement. We had our own little Occupy circle here. So that kind of inspired me to things that are more important than the industry, which, kind of, we could talk about politics, we could talk about social justice issues. And ultimately, it was more of an opportunity with the space that it was a temple that was built in 1905. The Hare Krishnas had been gone for a little while. So people came up and said, hey, can you kind of help us with this? And I was like, yeah, that's great. One thing led to another. Of course, when a media gets a hold of such a story, they kind of twist it. It's a cult, and they're looking for that to clickbait, if you will. At the end of the day, it really was. And again, it's part of it's in the play as well. It was a wonderful space where people were coming together. We were really early to meditation, to sound healing, to just these kinds of
like a wellness
events.
center,
essentially a spiritual wellness center.
Yeah.
And I'll give you an example. Even Karen, one of the writers of 10 Things I Hate About You, she came down, and everybody would come in like this. They kind of come in sort of, what is this? How did what am I doing here? Is this a good idea? Right. They might have heard the story about it being a cult, so they might be just kind of curious. And, depending on which event we had 1,000 events over 3 years. They would leave just like shoulders down, talking to people. So in a sense, it really does connect to kind of what we were talking about the 90s. It had been missing. This was before the pandemic, of course, but still we had moved away from that. So to be able to be in community, to be with 10, 15, 20, 50, 100 people, the health, the wellness is in our connection, our human connection. And that is what is essentially lost in what we're talking about. So yeah, it comes into the play, of course, and we have some fun with it. And it's actually something on a side note, I'm working on a project based on all of this. So I can't talk all that much about it yet, but we're going to be doing a beverage in and around the cult stuff. So it should be fun, but I'll come back on and talk about that one day.
Okay. Yeah. Perfect.
The whole thing sounds really cool, man. Definitely. The whole world is now doing meditation and sound baths and talking about spirituality. I mean, that is like in the mainstream now. Yeah, because it's not denomination. I mean, you can have whatever perception of religion and it's not religious, but it's like the idea that you can do things for yourself. I was thinking of different practices like tapping. I don't know if you guys have heard of that. So it was a great way to
bring people in that had certain kinds of, spiritual practices and information. And a lot of things were really based on Native American practices as well, which is the original as far as I'm concerned. So, but it's not, no dogma of any sort, and definitely not a cult, right? It's not a cult.
Yes.
There's a lot of noise. There's a lot of noise out there. And, to be able to ground yourself and to find a place where you could just be a little grounded and a little bit more centered, regardless of religion, like Andrew Keegan said, is just, I think people are looking for that too. I do a lot of yoga, and
I was going to say, you do yoga, Diana. It's the same. Yeah, that's huge.
Yeah. I mean, it comes into play a lot.
Or even speakers like Joe Dispenza. Do you guys know Joe Dispenza? Who's really meditation, manifestation. He does these retreats. A friend of mine went to Cancun for 7 days on a meditation retreat. And there's thousands of people from all over the world. And his podcast is enormous. Or people like Andrew Huberman, Mel Robbins. People are just really wanting to explore.
People are seeking. People are, yes. And I think, honestly, my daughter went through a acting conservatory program for college. And when they entered that program, they gave them all free subscriptions to the Headspace app for meditation, for sleep, for meditation. I mean, it's a holistic approach to, and now I can't live without that app. And there's so many of them now, Insight Timer and Headspace, and they're incredible. I go to sleep to a meditation. I'll wake up, even if it's 2 minutes or 3 minutes, the way it will ground you and center you and just kind of give you a few minutes for yourself before life takes over, because we're all immediately, the alarm goes off and the phone is there, and we all fall into it. So to have something like that, and Andrew, it sounds like you were well ahead of your time or at least sort of helping sort of the movement.
A lot of things happened if you go back to it, but again, it was ahead of its time. Of course, it was a specific magazine, we'll leave it unnamed, that came in and just kind of wrote up a pretty salacious story and put that idea out there. What I will say in the time that has gone by is it did create a sort of a curiosity. And I saw a lot of people that came in wanting to investigate to see if, and of course, it was not anything nefarious. And what they ultimately got were, meditation, sound healing, yoga, and a community. And I still get messages. I got a message from a kid in Cincinnati, just like, that was the best time in my life. Thank you so much for doing it, paragraph after paragraph. So we go through life and we have different experiences. Obviously, we're talking about, careers and acting. But for me, just it was a wonderful time to connect with my community, and I had a great time and wonderful memories. So that's and now it's going to be involved in to some degree in the play. So things are all coming together.
And now we're really creating a cult.
Well, the thing,
Off-Broadway cult.
What I will say is we're going to have some
I'm
fun
signing
with that.
up.
We're all signing up.
But cult's the core word of culture. So whether we're talking about the culture of, the 90s, the culture of theater, the culture of being an actor, right now we really do essentially have our group of actors that we're working with, and Andrew and everybody. And it's like, we're a little team of people that are looking at the same goal. Of course, there's negative connotation to that word, but there's none to culture. We are a culture of actors bringing on a story, telling a story and putting it on stage for people to see, and then, on to the next thing.
All right, Keegan, that was a little too deep.
By the way,
I'm just curious. I have one question.
I'm going to steal that.
If you guys are rehearsing on Zoom,
God,
what are you going to do about the blocking, the onstage blocking?
So we do come into New York on Monday. So we have 4 days of dress rehearsals. So we will do physical rehearsals.
Okay.
By the way, with real productions where people are in New York City working, they're not on the stage until right before anyway. Everybody's working oftentimes working in a black box theater for Off-Broadway, especially. So this is not totally out of the norm of doing a lot of just the sort of text rehearsals on Zoom or however you can do them, and then getting on the stage and you really don't have, because, you know, theaters are just churning out productions, which is like you talked about, this community. Like, to me, I came up as a theater actor in, you know, the middle of like, you know, suburban Pennsylvania. And that was just like the dream to me, was to be on stage. And living in New York City, I just get to see so many great productions, not just Broadway, off-Broadway, off-Broadway. I mean, I just think it is like ripe with content, talent, and commentary even. There's just so many great things being told to us through the art form of theater in ways that you can't reach people otherwise. And I just think it's spectacular that you guys are doing it.
David, I think Christine's ready to do an Andrew Christie play. I think she's ready.
I keep telling her she is itching to do a play because her daughter
really
just did an amazing play last summer, and I think Christine got the bug. But I was wondering, like, would you ever think about live streaming it so that people could see it who aren't in New York?
No, Keegan's already told Christy we need to take it on the road and bring it to LA.
Oh, okay. There's an idea.
That's a great idea.
Yeah.
I feel like stage is one of those things that
something you would miss.
Streaming is
something
tough
to experience, but I mean, at the same time, it's possibly being live streamed. We'll let you guys know. Leave a little little teaser there. We might.
But either way, what are the dates of the show?
It's March 27th and March 28th, so just a little over a week away. If you know,
and at the Thesis, tell us the theater.
The Thesis Theater in Queens.
Okay, perfect.
Okay, and tickets are available where, in case anyone wants to buy?
I believe we can send a link to you guys, but it should be on my Instagram, on Diana's Instagram. So you guys can track us down. So Instagrams, we can send that to you guys as well.
We'll put it up when we post a clip of this to promote this next week.
And you guys talked about it being, you said there's music there. Like, should people expect to laugh, to cry, to sing, to dance? Without giving anything away, is it a little bit of everything, or is it?
It's everything.
It's everything.
You know, there is singing. I actually went to a quick singing lesson. I only have a little bit to do, but everybody else has songs, and there's I have a little bit, just a little bit.
Amazing.
And some good old nostalgia too.
Exactly. But yeah, no, it's a lot of laughs. It's a lot of fun. It is provocative. So I would say not necessarily child friendly.
Age appropriate. Right. Okay. That's good to know.
Well, it's Tarantino. So if you guys can imagine, there's some violence, there's some, sexuality type
well,
things.
It's Clarantino. It's Clarantino.
I'm sorry. I said Clarantino, right?
Clarantino.
Based on Tarantino.
Yes.
Clarantino. Yes. Keegan teased on it, but I am getting a small message that it may be live streamed, but I mean, I think Keegan's like, just teasing it, but there might have been some kind of confirmation.
I didn't know about that. I don't know how
I got a little text.
Well, Christine and I did a YouTube live stream of an episode of this show, and it was really cool. People were participating and asking questions, but yeah, you can reach the whole world on a live stream.
See, I just got nervous at that idea because I was like 200 people in a room. I'm good. Now it's live stream. Now
I know. No. Sorry, Keegan, to drop
maybe it's
a
not
bomb
for
on
theater.
you.
I don't know.
No, but you know what? Just to me, I feel like giving your fan base, because not everyone's going to be able to get to New York. People aren't going to be able to travel. If it works out, and it sounds like wink, wink, there might be a live stream.
People would love to see it.
Wink, wink,
yes.
wink, wink, wink.
Wink, wink, double wink. I really do think, yes, there's nothing that can replicate being in the room and the like blood, sweat, and tears you feel with the actors that you're watching on stage and you're sort of one with. But having a live stream also is such a great peek into it too. And I think it's a great advertisement for theater. It's a great advertisement for people who might not know or go to shows, go to live plays. So I think that's
It's the
awesome.
best.
You guys just watch this whole thing, like just me realizing what this live stream is. Cause I was like, oh, what if
Is
something
that
goes
sweat
wrong?
I see? Is that a flop sweat?
Yeah, exactly.
A whole new level of pressure.
I gotta go study my lines. So
Hey, but that is a good point. It's so different from film and television. How is the line memorizing coming? How are you guys feeling about that? Because I have not been in a play in years, and I'll still, just as an actor, have those dreams of going up on lines in a play just from like a million years ago. So
Really try
how
not
are
to
you
think
guys
about
doing?
that, Christine. Thanks.
no, but you're both
so glad we came on
pros.
this podcast. I'm really nervous now.
I know. I'm like, I hadn't really thought about that, Christine.
I was blocking it out.
No, you guys just
You're
roll
both
with
good
it. You roll with
improvisers,
it.
right? You just go with it.
We're just
And
gonna come up with lines.
that's all you do. Just don't shout line like the middle schoolers do.
No,
Yeah.
Mom, I'll probably be
by
like,
the way, the audience never knows. The audience
Help.
never knows. It's just
No.
you guys on stage who know. So like if you just roll with it, we're fine as audience members.
we needed this coaching, Christine. This is why
Hey,
we're really here.
We'll stay
Thank
on
you.
after.
I feel bad. I feel good. I feel good now. Feel better.
The sweat is going away now.
Yeah, you took me all the way down and brought me back up. So I appreciate that.
I have a quick story on a live show on California Dreams when we were taping. Because we used to put it in the can is what they called. So we would tape, we would do the whole show before the audience got there. And then we would do it again when the audience got there. There was a scene. I always remember this. It was a heat of the moment. I'm fighting with one of the actors. And then I literally stomp my foot and call him by his real name, J. Anthony Frankie. And then I said my line and he stopped and he looked at me like, and I go, so thanks, Christine, bringing it all back. The sweat's starting to come back down. So I hope not to yell out Andrew Keegan's name in the middle of the show.
But by the way, it sounds like it would work in the context of the show based on what you're talking about. So there's
It's going to be live stream, so it's not going to matter. There's nothing else you're going to see it there.
Or you just say take two and go back.
Right. Yeah. Kidding. Run it again.
Well, break a leg, you guys. I can't wait to hear about it.
Yes.
Thank you guys.
Yes.
Yeah.
Or we can't wait to see it and watch it.
Possibly.
Very exciting.
Andrew.
And Christine, David, so thankful for you having us on your show. Really excited. I mean, I was super excited to be on the show and, meet you guys virtually. I hope to meet you soon.
This
I've loved
made our
watching
week.
all your work.
This is so awesome.
Yeah, thank you both.
I think we should probably ask now, Diana. We're going to start a podcast, and we want you guys to come on our show. What do you think?
Anytime.
Yeah.
Take two.
Ours is going to be on a volleyball court, though.
Ooh, you guys play volleyball?
I will come meet you for some volleyball. Wow, that was a lot of positive energy.
That was so much
so
fun. Again, one of those great interviews of meeting people that we have known of and watched over the years and seen in things and just did not disappoint to get to meet
definitely
a couple
came
of
up
really
at
cool people.
The same time as Andrew. And, one thing that stood out to me was Diana's story about Quentin calling her that she got cut out of the movie right before the premiere. And first of all, that is one of the worst moments for an actor is you tell everyone you're in something and you don't know that you've been cut out. And it's like,
it's embarrassing.
It's a level of stress that was so nice of him. But I'm also glad that I didn't, sometimes I told you I didn't see Jackie Brown, which is crazy because I've seen all of his movies.
Yeah, same.
I could have blurted out, you were so good in that movie and been caught in I was cut out of the movie. I was like, thank God I didn't say anything stupid like that.
David, that is so funny.
Wouldn't that be typical?
Yes, it would be classic you. Right on brand for sure.
I loved you and Jackie Brown. Oh, okay.
I wasn't in it. Yeah, really, really great to talk to both of them. Like two just really deeply appreciative people who, like we've talked about as sort of our other peers from that era who have had this sort of newfound connection with fans and the work they did back then. It's the same way we
beach, raising their families,
two beach
volleyball,
bums.
Spirituality. They look beautiful and healthy. Like
I know, yogis.
I feel good.
I'm a little jealous. I'm a little jealous of you all and your California warmth right now. So go take it.
Spring is coming any day. Well, thank you for listening, everybody. Please follow us at Hey Dude, the 90s Called. Please subscribe to our podcasts and watch us on our YouTube channel and share these episodes with anyone you think would enjoy them. And we'll see you next week.
Thanks, everyone.
Yay Media Group.